You have the floor, Amanda.
Sounds good. Well, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are located. Happy to have you here with us and Bruce's webinar based on DITAP. So I am absolutely pleased to introduce Bruce. He is an experienced trainer, program manager, and consultant with more than 25 years of hands-on experience delivering complex projects across multiple industries, including federal acquisition and IT mobilization environments. He specializes in helping acquisition and program professionals bridge the gap between policy and real-world execution. His training style is highly experimental based and scenario based, designed to resonate with adult learners navigating digital acquisition, agile delivery, and cross-functional collaboration. He focuses on building critical thinking, stakeholder engagement, and practical decision-making skills that directly are applicable to DITAP and digital IT acquisition roles. He holds a master's degree from George Washington University and a bachelor's degree from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. He leads a consulting practice dedicated to strengthening product, and acquisition capabilities in complex regulated environments. So please join me in welcoming Bruce.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you, everyone, for joining our informational webinar about DITAP and the journey to FAC-C Digital Services certification. So I'm hoping that you will walk away with a much better feel for the breadth and scope of this training program, as well as, if not for yourself, then for your other colleagues who may have interest in it, to be able to talk more deeply about what this program is about and what does it help you prepare for. So I'm going to, as I mentioned earlier, we're a small group today. This is a very intimate audience, so feel free with any questions to drop them into the chat. I'm going to take time during the meeting to answer questions, as well as the end. We'll have time set aside for Q&A. And as we get started, I'm going to put a link in the chat just to get us started. This is for the TechFAR Hub. This was originally part of the U.S. Digital Services. As you know, the Digital Services was subsumed into the U.S. DOGE service. This probably has one of the best overviews of DITAP. So this has a full page of what the program is, what the objectives are, what are some of the memos that were written over the past decade to support this program, as well as additional information on CLPs and et cetera. So for today, what we're going to really look at is how the digital IT acquisition professional training program, and I call it DITAP. Some people may call it DTAP, but this is hoping to share with you how the program looks like, what's your expected time commitment, because it is over a 5 or 6 month period. And during that period, there'll be some group work as well as solo work, and it can be a little intense at times. And then what you're going to be expected to do differently after completion of this training as you manage digital service contracts for your agency or bureau. And, you know, we know that buying digital services is different. And as acquisition professionals, you are expected to lead these and be able to understand the technical trade-offs, understand how agile delivery, which is the more modern project management, supports delivery of digital services. The training also goes over human-centered design, which is another key area within delivery of digital services that helps make sure that our solutions are meeting the needs of our stakeholders and users, as well as supporting the faster modernization outcomes. So these are all the things that we're going to cover during this webinar. I'm going to give you a quick overview of why digital services and digital acquisition is different. I'll cover what DITAP, the training program, is and what it is not, how it supports the FAC-C Digital Services credential, who the target participant or student would be for the DITAP training, and what you'll do and what skills you'll learn, as well as time commitments, outcomes, and next steps for this program. So first of all, digital services just aren't the websites that we have. It's also how individuals interact with the tools and the processes and the services within the federal government during this digital age. And the thing that's important to know is that these services represent some key interaction points that the public has with our agencies. So when you think of some of the more well-known, sam.gov, that is a key digital service platform that's been around. USA.gov, pardon me, IRS.gov, many agency portals that provide services. These are all digital services, and we know that they need to be secure, they need to be accessible, and more importantly, they need to be user-centric. So they need to be built and intuitive for our users. So buying the digital services isn't really the same as traditional IT procurement. It requires a much more modern approach. Agile practices and iterative deliverables are a key part of these types of contracts. And one of the things that they require is that as we understand user needs and those needs evolve, requirements will change. And so this is not the traditional set the requirements once and then receive the solution at the end of the process. There needs to be a way to have more iterative contracts that allow for this ability to change as requirements change. Now, overall, the goals here are we want to have better outcomes, faster modernization, lower delivery risk, and we want to make sure that our digital service solutions are meeting the needs of our users and stakeholders. And as is pointed out on this page, digital programs not fail because of the technology. Often that's a risk, but because the approach doesn't really match how the work is being delivered. Now, when we look at who's involved, and again, as I mentioned, these are not just the websites. This gives us the digital services wheel that the U.S. Digital Services put together, and it gives the who, what, how, where, and why. And when we look at this, the who, we've got the end customer that has a need for a product or a service. This is the end user. This could be someone that is an analyst. It could be a customer service analyst. It could be a management individual. It could be someone who's providing services for the public. These are the who that these are being built for. The what encompasses all the data, the digital content, any sort of transactional services that we're providing. How refers to how we're going to manage, plan for, and deliver the acquisition. And so here it's key that we're going to be seeing much more agile methodologies being used, and as well user experience design. The where of digital services is how is it that our users or the public or our stakeholders interact with these solutions? Is it through websites, mobile applications, social media, cloud? These are all different channels that are going to be touch points for our users. And then lastly is the why. This clarifies the purpose, providing this information or service in a digital manner to our users and our stakeholders. So this wheel gives us the full extent of the who, what, where, how, and why of digital services. Now, the acronym DITAP, this stands for Digital IT Acquisition Professional. This program is very immersive. It's cohort based. So you'll be in a group with approximately 20 to 30 other acquisition professionals from around the federal government. And you will be focused on not only lecture learning and self paced learning, but also real world challenges. It helps you build up your skills and knowledge for digital services contracting and digital services oversight. Now, from what my experience has been, many people are looking at DITAP, looking at the FAC-C digital services credential. One, because there have been people who've left their department, and the department needs to have people to cover this work, or there are others who are being given more responsibility within the procurement of IT and digital services. So those are two main paths that we see people sort of need to go and get this credential. And then we look at Agile as one of the key areas, but it's not only just the theory. You're going to be practicing Agile. You're also going to be observing real world digital teams and see how do they practice Agile. And in the end, the goal is that you're going to be able to have that confidence, have the knowledge to be able to provide that contract oversight for these types of modern contracts. And the DITAP training program supports the FAC-C-DS credential. And so what it really does is it prepares you to earn this credential. It allows you to reinforce skills that you may already be very excelling at, which are market research, procurement planning, acquisition strategy, vendor evaluation. But what it's really going to do is help you sort of solidify that and give you the breadth and the depth. Now, when you come out of the training, you don't automatically get the credential. But what you need to do then is apply for it. And there's some additional work, just paperwork, to give justification from your agency on the experience. And that then will allow you to secure the credential. So obviously, people who are joining us today in this webinar, you're already, I'm probably singing to the choir here, but individuals that should be considering the the DITAP training and the FAC-C digital services credential, these are acquisitional professionals who are going to be supporting digital services and IT modernization at your agency. There are some minimum requirements. You need to have a FAC-C certification. They get preference. Those who have a FAC-PPM or FAC-Core level 2-3, they can also participate, but typically they're a little bit lower on the list. And you need to have at least 2 years of government contracting experience. So these are sort of the minimum to get into the program. And as I mentioned, most of the individuals are needing to manage acquisition programs that have some sort of complexity, or as you can see here, the FAR Part 13.5 threshold of 15 million. So this is going to be, if you know that you're going to be managing programs or needing to manage acquisitions above that amount, this is typically when this type of the training program and certification is to be considered. So hopefully so far this is making sense. Let me just pause, see if people want to give me a thumbs up if this is logical so far. and is making sense. So go ahead and use the React thumbs up. And all right, good, good. And as always, any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll look for those and answer them as appropriate. All right. So who are the best fit for the training? As I mentioned in the previous slide, anyone that's a contracting officer, contracting specialist, who are supporting more complex digital contracts, typically above 15 million. Individuals that are getting more responsibility and more vendor oversight. This is typically another area. And then also, if you're working in a cross-functional delivery environment, this is also important too. We spend a little bit of time working through how to enable better cross-functional collaboration. And then lastly, if you're truly want to seek and develop and invest in your practical skills, this is another driver to move toward the DITAP training as well. Now, our program, it is designed really to help you, as it says here, master the art of digital acquisition, help you get the certification, and you will also earn 80 CLP through this process. So these are sort of the main sort of tangible outcomes that you'll see. And if you participate and take part in the DITAP program, I mentioned that this is cohort-based, so you're going to have peers from around the federal government. It is a mix between live instruction, so we have periods when there are 4-hour live sessions, as well as shorter 1-hour webinars. These will have some assignments, and then you'll also have the team projects. There are 2 team projects that we'll be working through. One based on a case study that we use throughout the full training program, and then the second is the team simulating as if you are a vendor delivering a digital service to the government. So you get to work from the other side of the table at this point. There's a lot of work products that we'll be sharing, templates, desk guides that you can reuse on the job. And this is not only live, but there's also self-paced learning as well. So there's quite a bit of online learning with checkpoints throughout that. And then the hands-on assignments include both observing digital service teams, so software teams that are building something, as well as interviewing key stakeholders. So this is not just a full lecture in class. There is quite a bit of solo work as well as team-based assignments as well. And as I mentioned, it's not just it's learning by doing. So you're not going to be just sitting, taking notes. You're going to be learning new methods. You're going to be learning about agile. You're going to learn about human-centered design concepts, and then you will apply those in activities and see how you can reuse those in your workplace as well. And one of the other goals is to be able to boost your confidence in post-award oversight. So this is being able to manage and provide that level of oversight for programs that are using Agile, using human-centered design, using continuous integration, continuous development type of practices, and help you to take what you've learned in the class into your workplace every day. So we've got a online learning portal, and this is one of our main components for the self-paced the content that you'll have. So you'll have access to this both during the course and after. This is how we will have most of our self-paced courses delivered. So there'll be one place for you to go and to sort of work through different modules, answer quizzes, take assessments, as well as this will be the location to download any sort of materials from a live session or tools that you may need in your job as someone who is managing digital service acquisition. So our online portal is one of the key tools, one of the main things that you'll use during the program. Another aspect of the learning by doing is our group projects. There is both a course-long team project that I mentioned. It's really trying to take the learnings from the class and apply that to a realistic challenge. This again is where the teams will simulate being a vendor who is selling a service to the federal government and working through how to come up with the market research, the requirements, the stakeholders, as well as the functionality and overall solution for the government. So this, as a small group, you will work through various stages. They're aligned and tied to our learning modules. As it says there, you'll start small. But toward the end of this project, it gets quite complex. And throughout, you'll be practicing agile life cycle methods. And as always, we encourage the hands-on peer-to-peer learning that occurs during these small group projects. So, this is a wonderful way to find and speak with individuals. If you're from a small agency, you can learn things from people who are from large agencies. We've got individuals from the General Services Administration who have quite a lot of experience with IT modernization and digital services. They've been able to share quite a bit of their knowledge with their teammates or group mates who are from other agencies that may not be as far along. So quite a bit of peer-to-peer learning here as well. And some of the skills that we're hoping that you'll be able to turn around and use after these classes, obviously market research and vendor engagement. We practice vendor evaluation, agile oversight. This is mainly so that as a acquisition professional, as a contracting officer, contracting specialist, or core, having the understanding to speak the vocabulary that your vendors have around agile, and also being able to understand where additional checkpoints and milestones are needed. So this is really to help you to engage and provide that level of oversight for the digital service acquisitions. We spend a session or two on stakeholder alignment and communication. We know that our internal stakeholders, there's quite a bit of complexity there. And then we also touch on risk identification, risk management, and delivery risk management. We're not going to get to the DoD, DoW levels of risk management. This is really more to practice the standards that you'll find that industry would use as well for risk management. But these are just some of the skills that we're expecting for you to use out of the classroom. Now, one of the things about this program, there is a time commitment. One, this takes place over 5 to 6 months. This is not a short 1 month or a 2-month program. There is also an expectation for an average. This is an average about 10 hours per week. So there's some weeks where we will have classroom time that will consume about 20 hours. There'll be other weeks when it may just be a 1 hour webinar and perhaps a 1 hour touch point with your project team. But in general, the this is you're going to want to set aside and schedule out time to participate in this program. So you also will be balancing uh, the live work with independent work. So the self-paced learning is something that you'll want to you'll be given several weeks to complete it, but you'll want to pace yourself so that you're not waiting toward the end of that either. And so one of the things that we encourage individuals who are interested in taking part of DITAP program training is to make sure you have your supervisor's support. This is really something that you need to secure early because of the time commitment. This is, and you know, there are, we all know we're juggling many different things, but this is just going to be one more thing that you'll need to account for. So this is definitely, I would encourage a very fact-based conversation with your supervisor to say, look, there are some time commitments for this program. And then also, we encourage everyone to stay engaged throughout the learning. And I enjoy corresponding with all the people in the training. I'm very accessible via email. And you know, there's a lot of opportunities to ask me as one of the instructors, as also the program manager, to answer questions. So I feel that we do a very good job of keeping in touch and helping our students in the training program to stay engaged. So what can you expect from the program? What changes afterward? So we help you to build a repertoire of better questions, more robust questions to ask during acquisition planning. We help you understand how to write requirements that are more focused on outcomes, requirements that are outcome based, as well as focused on your users' needs. You should also be able to evaluate and monitor vendors, you know, that are using these more agile and modern delivery techniques. And then lastly, you should have more confidence in providing oversight of the procurement and the acquisition post-award. So these are the expected outcomes that our participants have. So I'm moving pretty quick today, but here's some of our key takeaways. I want you to get a feel for one, this is a 5 to 6 month cohort-based program. It emphasizes learning by doing, so it's not just theory. You're going to have solo work as well as in-classroom work, and there are several team-based projects that are important as well. The team project, it simulates a real-world acquisition. So this is definitely something. You're also going to be able to, we introduce these concepts incrementally, and it happens over the course of the 5 to 6 months, and you'll hopefully be able to start applying them as you learn them. The collaboration within your team and in the class really mirrors the cross-functional teams. And we're hoping that you will be able to build your confidence across all the full agile acquisition lifecycle. And that the skills, the tips, the best practices, and the artifacts that you are exposed to during the training are directly transferable to your regular work and on-the-job challenges that you may face as you're managing more complex IT modernization and digital service acquisition. So these are some of the key things that I want you to think about. So some of the next steps is that if you are looking at supporting high risk digital acquisitions, or you're currently doing this, this is really designed for this moment in your career. So you'll want to confirm your eligibility. You'll also want to have supervisor support. You'll want to look at our training schedule that we have, and Amanda or I will put it in the chat, a link to that. And then you'll want to register and enroll in an open agency cohort. And I did give a link earlier to the TechFAR Hub. This is, as I mentioned, this is an excellent resource to not only share, um, review yourself, but share with your supervisor, because that will give a really clear and more detailed summary as well. And here is the link to our, thank you, Amanda. This is a link to our DITAP training page at the Graduate School USA. We do have a cohort starting up soon, and want to encourage you to think about that. And if not, reach out. We also have other cohorts that will be starting later on in the year as well. And let me just pause here for questions and answers. So as we wait for people to sort of type in their questions into the chat, I want to thank everyone. I think we had several people from agriculture. We had an individual from the digital services, so Executive Office of the President. Let's see, NLRB, EPA. So thank you for joining us in those areas. Um, as I mentioned, these cohorts, they're usually individuals from all over the federal government, both small agencies and the larger agencies. Um, we normally do not have DoD, DOW participants, but every now and then someone does pop in from the Department of Defense. Any questions? All right. So, Amanda, I think I'm not seeing any questions. So, I want to thank everybody for your participation today in this webinar. I hope that this has given you a good feel for the DITAP training program and the path toward the FAC-C Digital Services certification. I see. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for that. And Akia. I hope this has been informative, and feel free to reach back out to us. My name is Bruce Gay. I'm a program manager for the DITAP program at Graduate School USA. And Amanda, any other closing comments that we need to make today?
Yeah, sure. As a reminder, if you didn't hear earlier, this is recorded and we actually post this live on our site. It'll be available today. So if you need to reference back to this, you're more than welcome to. I'll re-put the link in that just in case you didn't see that earlier too. It's just graduateschool.edu/seminars, and you'll see it if you scroll down, because once the seminar, since this is concluded, has been conducted, the seminar will drop to a lower part of the page because our other webinars are going to move in its spot as we continue through these sessions. So I just thank you guys for joining, and you'll have that as a resource if you ever need to take a look back at it.
And I want to thank everybody for joining today. Good luck. And please feel free to reach out if you've got any questions on this program or our seminars page that Amanda just dropped in the chat has um, a lot of information on our other training offerings that we provide to the federal government.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Everyone have a good day.
Thank you.